Is Ryan Tannehill the number one most disrespected and overlooked players in any sport right now? That's the question that is floating around right now. I do believe that Ryan Tannehill is the most disrespected player in the NFL. But is he the most disrespected player in any sport? That is a question that I'll ask you guys and I'll answer myself in today's video. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's get into it. Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is D-Man coming back at it again with another YouTube video, and today we're going to be talking about Ryan Tannehill, and the question is he the most disrespected player in sports today? So, before I get into my opinion, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys Greeny. If you don't know who Greeny is, Mike Greenberg from ESPN. All I'm going to say is that he's really good at his job and he knows his stuff. And he's going to tell you why Ryan Tannehill is really disrespected and why he should be in the top 10 list for the quarterbacks. So the quarterback list came out on Monday. Didn't have a chance to do this video. I kind of wanted to do this video on Monday, but thank goodness I did wait because I love what Greenberg has to say about Ryan Tannehill. So that being said, let's go ahead and check out that. I think it's like 2 minutes. If you want to watch it, you can. If you want to skip through it, it's fine with me. But I will link the full video. I think it's like just over 3 minutes. I will link that video down below if you want to watch the full thing. We're going to go over where he talks about Tannehill's stats compared to everyone else's and how he has pretty much put the Titans over the top after we made the switch from Marcus Mariota to Ryan Tannehill. So let's go ahead and check that out. All right, so here is Greeny. He's going to go ahead and talk about Ryan Tannehill's stats here, and you can just listen and watch with me, and we'll go along with this. And then after, I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on this, and we'll go over the top 10 list for quarterbacks as well. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Since Ryan Tannehill became their starting quarterback, Tennessee's offense is number 1 in yards per game. It's number 1 in yards per play. It's number 1 in red zone. It's number 3 in scoring. It's number 3 in total efficiency. It's number 3 in third down. And don't tell me that's Derrick Henry. Don't tell me it's all Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry ranked 14th in the NFL in rushing in 2019 at the time that Ryan Tannehill took over as the starting quarterback. Since then, he has run for 1,000 more yards than any other back in the NFL. When Marcus Mariota was the starting quarterback, Derrick Henry averaged 51 rushing yards per game. Since Tannehill took over, he averages 126. Since Tannehill became their quarterback, they're 18-8 plus 2 playoff wins with the 29th ranked defense in the sport. Since became the starter, Ryan Tannehill is number 1 in average yards per attempt. He's number 3 in QBR. And only Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson have thrown more touchdowns. So Ryan Tannehill's numbers are stupendous. They're off the charts ridiculous. People still perceive that as a defense team. Their defense stinks. Ryan Tannehill is the reason they've gotten so good. And yet when they poll people in the sport, he's not in the top 10. It's got to be a joke. Why is Ryan Tannehill so completely disrespected and overlooked? It is because people had a perception of him in Miami that they've never gotten past. It's as though they've forgotten that the problem in Miami was Adam Gase. That Adam Gase coached Ryan Tannehill into that. And he came here and he became this. He's been as good as any quarterback, with no exceptions, in the NFL in the year and a half that he's been a starter. You want to tell me it's only a year and a half is not enough of a sample size? That's the only reasonable argument I can see against saying that he is an elite quarterback. He is as elite as anybody you want to name.
All right, guys, you heard it from Greeny right there. I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off a couple things he said. We'll start off with comparing his numbers in Miami to now in Tennessee. So the past year and a half where he's played for us, or I should say started for us, which was back in 2019, You guys see the numbers. They go up. Or I shouldn't say the numbers. The yards pretty much stay consistent there. But you look at the record, 7-3, 11-5, and every year in Miami, they've had a losing record except for 2016. Okay, and then we go to 2019, and look at all those bold numbers there. The QBR, the quarterback rating there, is 117.5. I believe that I can't remember if that was like the highest in the NFL, or it was very close to the highest. It was either the highest or almost the highest. But that is a phenomenal number as a quarterback to have 117.5. That's ridiculous. And you just see what he can do, what he brings to the table. Obviously, we started the year off 2-4 in 2019. Put Ryan Tannehill in there as the starter, and he goes 7-3 to finish the year. We get a wild card spot. We beat the Patriots, beat the Ravens, make it the AFC Championship, and fall to the Chiefs. So you talk about a team that was 2-4. That same team made it to the AFC Championship. That is something else, guys. That is literally something else. And yeah, I mean, that's all you really need to know. He literally flipped a franchise upside down, or I should say flipped it right side up. Our franchise was, or the Titans were absolutely upside down, very, very bad in 2019, very early on. He comes in, goes 7-3, gets a wild card spot for us, and wins 2 playoff games on top of that. So, man, he flipped everything around that year, and then continued on in 2020. And another thing I want to talk about. People say Tannehill's good because of Derrick Henry. That is not true at all. I could argue that Derrick Henry is good because of Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill, you heard Greeny, I believe Derrick Henry was averaging like 51 yards. I can't remember what he said specifically, but I think he said Derrick Henry was averaging 51 yards a game when Marcus Mariota was the starting quarterback. Okay? When Ryan Tannehill is the starting quarterback, Derrick Henry is averaging 126 yards per game. That's 75 yards more. That is ridiculous. And people that make the argument, it just frustrates me so much when people make the argument Ryan Tannehill is good because of Derrick Henry. It's just not true, guys. If we look at Tannehill's stats there, you see that. But we'll go ahead and hop into Derrick Henry's stats right here. And we can check Derrick Henry's stats out. 2018, 2017, 2016 were all years that Marcus Mariota was the starter for most of the year. Maybe, a couple of these years he was injured. But for the most part, these were the years that our starting quarterback was Marcus Mariota. And we see, 2016, 2017, obviously was splitting some carries there with DeMarco Murray. But like 51 yards a game with Marcus Mariota versus 126 yards with Tannehill under center. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Again, 2018 Derrick Henry having a 1,000-yard year. That is a very, very, very solid running back on your team, having a 1,000-yard rusher. Okay, so that I was very happy with this season that Derrick Henry had. Little did I know what was to come. As we see these numbers here, it's unbelievable, guys. Absolutely unbelievable. And you could make the argument that he wasn't getting as many touches. Well, defenses were going to if our opponent was going to lose when we had Marcus Mariota under center, they were going to lose with Marcus Mariota throwing the football. They weren't going to lose with Derrick Henry running. So that's why we didn't run it that often, because people were stacking the box on us and forcing us to throw the ball because they want Marcus Mariota throwing the ball. Okay, because we've seen, obviously, I think Marcus Mariota should be a starter in the league. I do believe that. I just don't think this team wasn't the best fit for him, in my opinion. But he's nowhere near what Ryan Tannehill is. Ryan Tannehill comes in and basically opens the field up. We didn't have really good. We had a rookie, A.J. Brown, who we didn't even know what he was going to turn out to. Obviously, he ended up being an absolute stud. And we also had Corey Davis. So you got two above-average wide receivers, A.J. Brown, rookie year A.J. Brown, and then you got Corey Davis as well. And you saw Ryan Tannehill's stats. And not only did Ryan Tannehill have very solid numbers in 2019, he only played 10 games, guys. He only started 10 games. And you see Derrick Henry's numbers as well. It's really unreal to me what Ryan Tannehill did to this franchise by flipping us all the way around, a complete 180 from the first 6 games to the last 10 games. Unbelievable stuff. And then continued it in 2020. And you look at Tannehill's numbers from 2020 and look at Derrick Henry's numbers from 2020. It's ridiculous how many yards were compiled between the two of them. And it's just because when people face the Titans, Ryan Tannehill is a threat. You're either going to stack the box, or you're going to stack the box and Ryan Tannehill is going to dot you up over the whole game, or you're going to lighten the box. And Derrick Henry's going to run it 5, 6, 7, 8 yards a carry. And that's what's so scary about next year. If we can just have a solid defense, I've said this a lot, a top half of the league defense, we have a chance to win the Super Bowl, because there is no way that any defense in the NFL can stop Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, and Ryan Tannehill in the pass game. And if you're going to try to stop that, you got Big 22 running straight at you. It's just not even stoppable, in my opinion. But anyway, back to what I was saying. You can make the argument. You really can't make the argument that the reason Tannehill's good is because of Derrick. It's just not true. It's just not true. I just proved it here. Greeny touched on it too. Marcus Mariota, when having Derrick Henry only averaged 51 yards a game. With Ryan Tannehill as quarterback, Derrick Henry 126 yards a game. It's unreal in my opinion. And we will now move on to the top 10 list. I did take a little bit of time on that, but hey, it is what it is. So here's the top 10 list. This is from ESPN. Obviously, Tannehill is not on this list, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. And another point I wanted to make that Greeny said towards the end of the clip was that Ryan Tannehill, the only solid argument you can make for Ryan Tannehill not being an elite quarterback in the league is he's only played 1.5 years. So that's an argument you can make, but you got to look at this list. Justin Herbert's at 9. He's played 1 year. He's coming off a rookie year. You can't make the argument when you have Herbert at 9. So that's the same argument. It's the same argument you make for Tannehill. Same with Kyler Murray, his second year. It's crazy to me how Tannehill's not in the top 10. Obviously, and you guys should compare Patrick Mahomes' numbers to Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill has more touchdowns. He has a better QBR. I think the only thing Ryan Tannehill has like 1,000 less yards than Patrick Mahomes, but Tannehill's passer rating 110.9 since the last 24 starts. Tannehill 110.9 passer rating. Patrick Mahomes 105.2. Pass yards, Tannehill's 5,912. And then you have Patrick Mahomes with 6,940. So obviously Patrick Mahomes has a lot more yards. But you look at this stat, total touchdowns. 61 touchdowns for Ryan Tannehill, 57 for Patrick Mahomes. You look at interceptions. They both have 11 interceptions. And then the completion rating, completion percentage, Ryan Tannehill 66.6, Patrick Mahomes 66.2. So you look at the number 1 ranked quarterback in the NFL compared to not even in the top 10 Ryan Tannehill, and he is stat for stat with him. Pretty important stats there, guys. Touchdowns, interceptions, QBR, pass yards, 1,000 less, but he's still getting the ball in the end zone, and he's got a better completion percentage. Not by much, but he has a better completion percentage than the number 1 quarterback ranked in the NFL. So, in my opinion, there is no reason in this entire universe where Ryan Tannehill should not be in the top 10. Ryan Tannehill is not only a top 10 quarterback, you could put him in the top 5, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. There would probably be people that have a problem with that. But honestly, I'd probably put Ryan Tannehill at least at 7 or 6. I think Ryan Tannehill is better than Kyler Murray. I think Ryan Tannehill is better than Justin Herbert. I think Ryan Tannehill is better than Lamar Jackson. I think Ryan Tannehill is better than Dak Prescott. We'll have to wait and see how Dak comes back. But when Dak is healthy, I don't think he's better. I don't know. Dak is really good. He's really good. I might put Dak over Ryan Tannehill for now, but we'll have to wait and see how he comes off that injury, how he plays. Matthew Stafford's a very good quarterback. And then Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, they can all be above Tannehill, but I'd probably put Tannehill 7, 8. You got to have him in there somewhere. It's just unbelievable that he's not in the top 10. And yeah, I really made a lot of solid arguments, a lot of solid points. And yeah, y'all have to let me know down below. What do y'all think about this? What do y'all think about this? What do y'all think about Ryan Tannehill not being in the top 10? Again, these lists are made by executives, coaches. You heard Greeny say executives, coaches, scouts, executive coaches, players, GMs. The big dogs are making these lists, and they don't include Ryan Tannehill, whether it be overlooking him or disrespecting him. I don't know. You can decide on that. But I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both because not having Ryan Tannehill in your top 10, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy in my opinion after seeing what he has done the past year and a half. Insane to me that he's not in the top 10, but y'all got to let me know down below. Do y'all agree with me, disagree? Some points you agree with, some points you don't. Let me know down below what you guys feel about Ryan Tannehill and where you would rank him here in the top 10. And hey, why not make a list of your own? Top 10 quarterbacks. List them down below. Let me know how you would list those top 10 quarterbacks, what order they would be in. I would love to see some of that down below. So with that being said, that is going to do it for the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Until next time, I'll see y'all.